Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Morning, babe.
Good morning, babe. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I like that shirt.
You're wearing a shirt.
Mine costs $1.
It was $1.
It was $1.
Well, there's something about wearing something, too, that you know that you got a deal on.
Mm-hmm.
My sweater I wore last podcast, $2. It's like blue light special prices sometimes.
Oh, man. Do you remember
that?
Remember Kmart's blue light special? How exciting it would be. And you'd go over there. And there really wasn't anything interesting. You know? It was like a special on whisks or something.
No. One time they did a blue light special. And we ran over there, and it was so many summer clothes. My mom actually sent me home with a shirt that we got at that sale for probably 25 cents.
There are all these articles that are sort of theorizing, trying to explain.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Wait, what's going on?
It occurs to me.
What occurs to you?
That
you have stopped my flow.
Yeah, I know, but it also occurs to me that when you read an article or when you watch something, it's just so much opinion.
What do you mean it's so much opinion? That's what an article is.
Did you actually go to an ancient text and confirm this?
Oh my God, what?
Something published before 2000?
No, but
then how do you really know anything is real?
It's not that it's not necessarily real. It's looking at what exists and making a determination of it based upon history.
But what's the history? Did you research the history?
What do you mean, did I research the history?
You're just taking their word for it. You're just taking their word for it.
Taking their word for what?
Now, I don't feel like anybody has to have any sources.
No. Even the court cases have basically said that the 24-hour news networks are not news.
Yeah.
They are entertainment based.
Yeah. I don't even know who there is to trust and where there is to go for a source.
I understand
anymore.
I'm not even talking about a source. I'm talking about someone like a critic who looks at what is going on in the work.
It's an opinion piece.
I'm not saying it wasn't an opinion piece.
Okay. Well, let's just put that out there.
Okay. That's fine. Right. Well, I don't even want to talk about it now. What's going on in our country right now? Pluralism.
Is that like plural marriage?
It's probably some sort of connection there. To do things for the benefit of the most people in the future. And spending resources and efforts on individuals and people who are not in a place of wealth.
Let me just say, I think that term is bullshit. I think it happens all the time. I think that's the Rockefellers. I think
absolutely. It's ridiculous.
It has nothing to do with the future in reality.
No, and it also assumes that you understand what is better for everybody else. Look what happened in France this week.
Oh, with the women protesting. With
the women protesting and,
love it.
Basically, they said that we were Nazis. The Americans were Nazis.
I just want to put this out there for women who might be thinking about organizing a protest. You can go topless in New York City.
Well,
But New York City's legal.
That's where the rubber's going to meet the road. Because we have...
Will women take their tops off?
Well, no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we have an administration that believes in a strongman mentality. They love the idea of basically being a ruler. Now, the only way you're a ruler is if you start crushing dissent. And once people start dying and being arrested, will America wake up?
There are a lot of men in this country who hate women. And it probably all comes down to their pee-pees.
Oh, it always comes down to your pee-pee, man. It always comes down to that. You said
nobody cares about your pee-pee.
I agree. I think men need to stop caring as much about their pee-pee.
The thing that I'm missing is like, okay, you've got all of these peasants who provide all of these services and goods for a royal family and a court and all of this, right? And they clean their houses and feed them. And then they get pissed because of the taxes they're paying and the treatment they're receiving. And they're starving and can't feed their families. And they go get the fire and the pitchforks.
I mean,
that's the part I'm missing.
When you go to the Louvre, there's a whole giant wing that is this room of, I don't know, it was like Louis XIV or something like that. And everything's encrusted in gold and everything. I mean, it looks exactly like you think it would look of just like Versailles or something. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's tacky. And all of that money was the people's money. People want worth. People want value. It's not that if somebody had someplace to live and something to eat, that they would just sit around and play video games all day. Okay? Well, I don't think they would. I think their minds would be open and they would be able to, their potential could be endless.
And I go through this process with myself.
And by the way, rich people sit around and play video games all day too.
Yeah. Have you seen Honora?
Oh, God.
I would sit there and be doing a thing, and I don't think anyone looking at me would call me lazy. Right? But I'm looking at, well, what am I afraid to be doing? You know, like, what am I doing right now to avoid doing a thing I could be doing?
Right.
And that's lazy.
Right. What space am I filling? Because nature abhors a vacuum. And we are afraid to create vacuums in our life.
Well, and you may be afraid to put yourself out there. And you may be afraid in a lot of different things. And that breeds laziness. You know, laziness is a byproduct of an actual issue that's going on for you. Okay? If you see someone sitting around and avoiding, okay? Now, if they were asleep, and they had been asleep most of the day, that would be obvious that it was avoiding, right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, why are you sleeping all the time? Are you depressed?
I remember when I was a kid, like throughout my teen years, I slept way too much. And I realized that I was escaping.
Yeah.
I was escaping from, situations that I was in and that and it's weird now because my memory of that time is very, 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 very foggy.
You could be doing a job and be lazy.
Right.
Because instead of doing a thing that you're afraid to do, to put yourself out there, you're doing this job. Oh. Like you could be delivering pizzas right now and no one would say, oh, you're lazy. You don't have a job.
Right.
Okay. But if you want to write a screenplay,
right.
And you're not doing it.
If you're delivering pizzas to avoid writing your screenplay.
I never have time to write my screenplay because I got to work. That's lazy.
Change tends to happen with calamity.
I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think change happens because of calamity. I think, think of calamitous situations.
Well, I guess it depends on your definition of calamity. I mean,
calamity is like something that befalls you, right?
Right. Like
it's like a series of crazy things that have happened.
Yeah, but those crazy things can be tragedies.
Sure. I don't think until the calamity actually causes suffering that you're going to change anything. You're just going to, it's a one-off. It's like, oh, what a calamity.
So what is the definition of suffering? Is suffering mean that you actually feel an emotion about the calamity? Are you saying these people are basically kind of like, oh, I guess, this stuff always happens to me. And until they actually look inside.
No, it doesn't always happen to you.
Okay. So
it happens because of the things you put in place so that it can happen. So it's a domino.
So is suffering have to do with looking inside yourself and realizing that you are the cause of your own calamities?
A calamity I could use as an example, and we still haven't figured out what the hell happened is this whole Gene Hackman situation. First of all, holy shit, he was really old.
He was 91.
Yeah,
he was 91.
Old.
So
he was old for a long time.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a calamity.
Gene Hackman,
when a 91-year-old man dies, I mean, that's
but
very much in the cards.
His wife died and their dog died.
Yes, and their dog died.
Okay, so finally it came out. I guess the medical report or the coroner or somebody said that she died first.
Right.
Of hantavirus. Of a specific hantavirus. And of course, I was like, hantavirus?
Yeah, you were completely.
What's that from? It's from Outbreak.
Oh, it's from the movie Outbreak. Okay.
Yeah. Because that's the one that the hantavirus that mutated and had the little hook on it and was killing everybody. But that was Rene Russo.
But that was a monkey. That was a monkey's hantavirus.
Yeah. This specific hantavirus was one that was communicated by rats and mice.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wow.
Is that right? Communicated? Is that the phrase?
A communicable disease?
Communicable.
Communicable?
Yeah, communicable. But I don't think you would communicate it.
Really?
Because that's like you would talk it.
No, I don't. No. I think communicate is.
Okay. I'm going to check that one out.
Do your research, folks.
Exactly.
That's how I say it. I don't know if many people out there know how to handle and deal with mouse and rat poop. It's really bad, actually. Mm-hmm. People need to be careful with it, as evidenced by this woman dying.
You always, when we come back from trips.
When I say we live in a forest,
yes,
I don't mean the woods.
No.
I mean a forest. It's a state park.
It's 22,000 acres
of forest.
Yes.
Okay.
You look outside.
Nothing in, nothing out.
It is forest.
It's a forest.
That's where we are.
There's a handful, 2 handfuls, 3 handfuls of houses in here. And we live in a forest.
We usually see deer almost every day.
Yeah, the deer are not on this path. I don't know what's going on with them. But sometimes when we are here, and a lot of times when we're not here, mice get in.
Our forest has mice. There are mice in our forest.
These are really cute little mice.
They're very adorable.
They're just hungry and cold.
Yes.
And I get it.
And we see them on our little sticky mouse traps.
I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
People are offended by that.
Okay, that's fine.
I see them outside. Just
yes.
like chimbing running around.
Yes.
I see them on the porch. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
little squirrels.
Yes,
if squirrel didn't have a tail,
our world is covered in rodents and spiders.
Well, they're doing jobs. I mean, that's how seeds get communicated.
Mm-hmm.
Or communicable. So
you can't use the word communicate for everything, babe.
It's how seeds get spread.
Yes, there we go.
We came home
from... Oh, it had been 3 months.
We hadn't been here for Thanksgiving. We hadn't been here for Christmas.
Right.
And we hadn't been here for the movie shoot.
Right. So
this is all the cold months.
It was 3 months. Yeah. It was
yeah.
November,
and
December,
we came
and
home,
most of January.
and I think we had 2 live mouse and 2 dead mouse.
Yeah.
And we put away the food really well because we hid everything and put it in Tupperwares and in the fridge or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't much here to eat.
There wasn't.
We remembered to put the dog food away.
Yep.
So they were really hungry and looking for stuff.
Oh yeah.
They got into the packet drawer, what I call the packet drawer, which is like when you go to Chinese place or Taco Bell and you have leftover packets, you throw it in the packet drawer.
Right.
This is not full.
You really never.
Okay, that's my thing.
Reuse those packets.
You're never going to use that packet.
You're
never going to use it.
Really, that's sweet and sour sauce. Really, what are you going to need that sweet and sour sauce for?
Maybe that. Well, maybe.
Yeah, but you're going to already have sweet and sour sauce from your Chinese.
Yeah, the next time
they would have had to have
unless they forget it.
Yeah, well,
but look,
most of the time you get your own sweet and sour sauce.
These mice were so hungry. These mice were so hungry and couldn't find food that they ate that Chinese mustard stuff.
Yeah, nobody eats that.
Like, no, I don't even think I've ever seen a human being open that and eat it.
I will get a little handful of them every time, but I don't
Why?
know why.
Stop doing that.
Don't know why.
Stop doing it.
It's there. It's already there.
No. And I don't like the packaged soy sauce they always sell either. I'd rather have my own soy sauce. The stuff they sell is gross. So the duck sauce is the one it's about.
Yeah, it's all about the duck sauce.
They ate taco, mild. They ate hot. They ate, every kind of thing. Whatever was in there. They ate a thing of like McNuggets barbecue.
Right.
Okay. They chewed through everything.
Right. There was one thing that they did not.
Well, I didn't know that on a shelf, kind of hidden, but not hidden from them. They have amazing noses. They could smell food in those fucking packets.
Right.
Was a bag of Trader Joe's corn tortillas.
Corn tortilla chips, yes.
Like chips, right?
Yeah.
Didn't touch them.
They totally could have gotten through there easily. Yeah.
No. It wasn't even, they wouldn't even have to chew through the bag.
No.
The bag was open.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was there.
Yeah.
And not anything. No mouse poop around it. No nothing around it. No chips. Nothing. They don't consider it food.
Yeah.
It's very concerning. And I will probably have to learn how to make my own tortilla chips now. When we came home, I kind of had a freak out because I wanted to clean everything up properly.
Right.
And like you have to like spray things and then wipe them up because the hantavirus is communicable through like it going into the air and you breathing it in. Right. So just be careful with mouse poop and stuff like that.
You get very intense.
I get very intense about it. Here comes the bleach.
I'm not as intense. I'm just like, I think we're going to be okay.
I'm not going to die of the hantavirus. Like I'll be damned if I go out like some kind of Renaissance era whore.
Gene Hackman was the star of a movie called Uncommon Valor,
which
is what Tracy and I call the Let's Get Hairy movies.
Yeah.
Yes. This idea of somebody is like in prison and no one will help them get out. And then you gather a bunch of people together and you go get them. There's a movie called Let's Get Hairy. And,
it's the Let's Get
movies.
Let's get movies.
Right. And he was in this movie called Uncommon Valor. That was one of those Let's Get movies. It was basically the exact same movie. But let me ask you a question. Is a movie like Inglourious Bastards, is that a Let's Get movie? Because you're gathering everybody together to go and get somebody. In this case, to go get Hitler.
Not really.
So you have to rescue someone.
Yeah, it's more like Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Is a Let's Get movie.
That's a total Let's Get here. That's a Let's Get movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's Get Private Ryan.
Let's Get Private Ryan. Okay. So as long as you can say Let's Get, then that is one of those movies.
Yeah.
There was this movie that you know how on Amazon Prime they always like pop up and go, this is a new movie.
But sometimes they're from the 60s.
Oh yeah. This one was from 1981.
Yeah, it's new on Amazon Prime.
It was new on Amazon Prime. And it was called The Amateur. And I read it and it was like, okay, so John Savage plays this CIA operative. You know, he's like this nerd who, does ciphers and stuff. And his wife is killed by a terrorist. And he decides as the amateur that he's going to go and get the terrorist. Now, I don't really think that's a Let's Get movie. That's more like...
No, that's like a revenge
That's
story.
like a revenge movie.
That's like Kill Bill.
Right. But I think revenge movies are sort of adjacent to Let's Get movies. But I discovered that this movie, The Amateur, I see now the reason that this movie has come out on Prime is that there is a remake of it that's coming out in like next month with Rami Malek.
Yeah, Rami.
Rami Malek is going to be playing it.
Mr. Robot.
Right. And do you think of him as Mr. Robot or do you think of him as Freddie Mercury?
I'm not going to acknowledge the kind of crappiness of the Freddie Mercury movie. He's Mr. Robot. He's amazing in Mr. Robot.
He's Mr. Robot. Okay. What I really enjoyed about this movie, The Amateur, was it was filled with all of these like character actors.
Yeah, George Coe was in there.
Yeah, George Coe, right. And like
I love George Coe from The Entity. He's like one of the doctors who doesn't believe what's going on with her.
But that wasn't where I knew him from. I knew him as Stackhouse from West Wing.
Yeah.
Yes.
He does the filibuster.
Yes, he does the filibuster. Yeah. So yeah, he's a great actor.
It was cool because he was like at this diner and he's like, how late are you open? And then he comes back after they close and breaks in and has like a little computer chip that he plugs into a video game. Like, what the hell kind of video game?
But it made sense because a video game is a computer. So he had hidden all of his cipher inside the video game. Yeah. It was really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it was
weird.
That
was a large video game.
I'm curious about watching the remake and to see how much of the remake they're going to utilize.
You could still hide a cipher in a video game because every video game just about now has a chat.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's actually like one of the documentaries I worked on that was about terrorism. Mm-hmm. That's one of the ways that they were communicating. That's one of the ways they
contacted each other. Yes.
Was through game chats. So you might be playing Candy Crush and terrorists are communicating with each other through it.
That's possible.
Farmland? I don't know. I don't play those, so I don't know if they have chats, but you get what I'm saying.
It's not called Farmland.
What's it called? Farmville?
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. God, I don't know. I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think so.
I used to play one though, and it was mermaids.
You did. Yeah, you had to keep your mermaids alive and keep them happy.
Yeah, so sometimes they would get really sad if you didn't like play.
We watched a movie last night, which was one of those documentaries of one of the 1970s Mavericks, Larry Cohen. Mm-hmm. He is the writer and creator and director and producer of like Q, the Winged Serpent, and It's Alive, and Maniac Cop, and
he wrote
Black Caesar,
bestseller.
I love bestseller.
He wrote the really good Body Snatchers.
Yes, the one that nobody ever talks about. Yes,
I love that one.
Yeah, that one was really great.
The Stuff.
Yeah, he wrote the Stuff. Yeah, he's like exploitation, but all of his exploitation movies kind of have this like political and social edge to them.
It's a strange edge that he rides.
I love it.
Where it's like satire, it's corny, it's entertaining, it's kind of good, but it's also like cheap but great ideas.
He had John Landis, Martin Scorsese.
He did a Masters of Horror for Mick Garris.
Yeah, he did.
Which those, like, they also had the guy that wrote his episode.
Right.
Because Mick said not only did the director have to be from horror, but the writer had to be from horror too.
I looked up that guy, and he was the one that adapted.
Score?
He adapted The Crow.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, amongst other things.
Crow.
Oh, the first Crow is great.
I mean, God.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Was it worth a life, though?
No, it was not worth a life. No. I don't think you could say any movie is worth a life.
Honestly, like, I don't know if Keanu would have had the same place that he has had Brandon lived.
There were so many things that I loved about this Larry Cohen. It was called King Cohen movie, but just his philosophy on just finding the people and finding the actors and finding the crew that everyone else had kind of forgotten about.
Yeah.
You know, he was brilliant. Like he hired Bernard Herrmann from, Citizen Kane and, Alfred in Hitchcock's movies, and used him for the score for It's Alive. Yeah. I mean, just smart. But he also got Rick Baker to make his little like baby for that.
Oh, right. And he was like, okay, well, it's not really ever going to be seen. It's just like going to be a reference. And then they were like, oh, well, we actually like this.
Yeah, this looks great. So let's see it. Yeah.
And then he's like, wait, hold on. You said we weren't going to see it.
No, I love stuff like that.
And like they would shoot from very far away and up high.
Oh, yeah.
And they would like kidnap kids or shoot people, and real life people on the street would think it happened.
There was a parade scene at the beginning of God Told Me To, which I've never seen, but I kind of think I want to see it. Andy Kaufman was dressed up like a policeman in this like 5,000 other cops, and they just put him in there.
Yeah.
And like cops were like looking, oh, there's Andy Kaufman, walking with us. Oh, that's weird. And just not even realizing that all these people were now part of this movie.
Yeah.
They're just shooting
hysterical.
that. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's incredible.
You know, in movies, crowds react much more intensely than they do in real life.
It's
because
true.
like this guy supposedly, according to everybody on the street, this guy got shot, and people are just kind of like, oh, he got shot, and they walked.
Yeah, that was.
They kept going.
That was like Black Caesar.
Nobody circled this guy.
Which is really interesting because it looked like the ending of Black Caesar was very similar to the ending of King of New York.
Well, they changed the ending of Black Caesar too. They did the test audience, and the audience hated it,
right?
Because Black Caesar died.
Yeah, because he died, so they got rid of him dying.
And he's like, I think we got to change the ending. And they're like, how? You're screening in New York in 2 weeks, and he's like, fine, I'll just cut it off.
Yeah. Your endings, man, they make a big difference.
They do.
We've gone around and around about endings for movies before.
Oh, we're going around and around about one right now. We watched this really weird movie. I don't know. Sometimes you find very obscure movies. Starve Acre.
It was not obscure. It's on like Shudder.
Yeah, it's on Shudder.
It's on Shudder.
Starve Acre.
And it stars Matt Smith.
I like Matt Smith.
He's a very wild and weird and cool dude.
Yeah.
He really expresses exasperation unlike any actor. His wife is Galadriel from The Rings of Power.
This couple, they have a little kid. He's pretty annoying. He dies. And all hell doesn't break loose, but they kind of go spiraling down.
Yes. He's also kind of a archaeologist or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts excavating. Evidently, the farm they've moved to was a traumatic place for him as a child.
Yes.
There's some I don't know, there's just weird little tendrils of story.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of don't lead anywhere. They just set atmosphere.
He finds bones of a rabbit.
Of a hare.
Of a hare. And
they start to regenerate
They
themselves.
start to regenerate and flesh gets back on
and
them.
this hair comes to life.
Yeah, and his hair comes to life. I mean, it's a strange film. I don't know if it really goes anywhere, but it looks great.
It's cool.
It's super cool. It's so 70s.
Yeah. It's actually the set design and the costuming is really great.
Right.
I don't know. It did feel like you were watching a 70s movie.
It did.
Kind of like the House of the Devil in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Same kind of thing.
And so just for the vibe, it was a great watch.
It was really good vibe and a lot of
the acting for the most part too had a little bit of affect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it affect or affect?
I think either one is fine.
Well, you're correcting my grammar
I'm
today.
sorry.
My pronunciations of things.
Oh my God.
Like the sister, the woman who played the sister, like the way her hair was. And there were just little things that made you feel like, oh, she's one of those secondary characters.
I'm not sure
if
she was the one from CB Striker or not.
I
She
don't
seemed like she might have been, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I like that British series.
Yeah, CB Striker, you're
Yeah.
a big fan.
Yeah, I am.
It's like a series of books.
It is.
He's got a limp and hair lip and but he's really smart.
Yes. But Starve Acre, it's a weird name. I don't think that
everything about it is weird.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, there was like a little song in it, and there was a little poem thing, and there were a lot of things.
It had a lot of history, and the zeitgeist was there, and but I don't really know that it did anything but create atmosphere.
Right. There were 2 secondary characters. And of course, they're old people, so they're going to be they're going to be part of the cult. They're going to be in the cult.
Oh yeah, if you're like in the others, if there's any old people, there's something going on.
Yes, they're part of the cult too.
I almost cut AMC Plus off because I'm like, oh, I don't ever watch anything on this. And then I was like, oh, fudge.
But see,
it has Shudder.
It has Shudder, and Shudder
But I may
has
just
stuff.
get Shudder and not have AMC Plus because AMC Plus needs to know you ain't got shit on your show. Even though I am a filmmaker, I switch service to service when something is on that I like. Netflix is always on.
Right. Netflix always, pretty much stays.
But, I don't know. In my own way, it's kind of like giving feedback.
I think Hulu is doing a better job than Amazon Prime, though, as far as their original programming.
I don't even consider Amazon Prime a place to go.
Oh.
Unless I Google, unless I do a search
Right.
that says, oh, you have to watch on Amazon Prime, I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also just a weird and sad state of affairs for the entertainment industry overall, because when people are paying $5.99 a month and they can watch anything they want,
right?
How in the hell is anybody supposed to make money other than this company who's selling ads?
Right.
I don't even know. I think most of the dollars must come in through ads, and then the companies say they don't know how many people watched it, so they can't share the revenue with you, the filmmaker. It's just sad. Whenever something's a numbers game, right?
Right.
Like you say, oh, well, to get somebody to say yes to a product or a service or a good or whatever,
right,
you're going to have to do this many reach outs, right? Like if 10,000 people see my product, 10 people will buy it.
Right.
What you're saying is energy. That's what this product needs or service needs to eat.
Right.
Okay? It's starving.
It needs your energy.
It's starving and it needs calories.
Right.
And calories are energy.
Right.
And if you want to make that, you're going to have to put equal energy into it.
You have to feed it.
Right.
Right.
So you have to go down there and actually do your fishing. And not to do that is lazy. And the lazy was coming from fear for me.
Interesting.
And fear causes the shrinking. Everything shrinks up and dries up and shrivels up in fear. And getting out of that, not being lazy, not averting energy somewhere else and focusing it into connection.
That is so interesting you said that, because I immediately thought of there was an old lady who swallowed a fly. And then she swallowed the spider to swallow the fly, and she swallowed the bird to swallow the spider. And it was like all of these things keep compounding on each other because we never get back to the point of that we swallowed a fly.
Well, and who cares if you swallowed a fly? Who cares? You and I, as a result of putting energy out there, you and I have had several auditions. Right. And as an editor, I'm not so much on the audition.
Right.
You look at my work, you look at my resume, and you hire me.
Right.
But someone did ask for an edit audition. And hey, if these people are out there asking for edit auditions and it's actually just a way to get a shit ton of work done for free,
sure,
fine. I put shit on mine so you can't steal it. And I'm also going to use that as an example of editing in that vein, whether that be real estate or corporate or whatever the product was or social media or whatever. Right. So I'm going to use it to get more work other than you.
I think you bring up something interesting, which is how much of what we are not getting done is just our ego saying, I shouldn't have to be doing this.
Well, I shouldn't have to do that, but
there is no shouldn't.
You can't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? I can't say to the universe, I want this, and then I get it.
You get,
and it's not on my terms.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not willing to do that to get this.
Thanks, universe, for replying with opportunity for me.
Right.
But it's not exactly what I had in mind.
Yeah, that would be a jerk.
No, you can't do that. Look, I sent energy out. That's the energy I got back. I'm going to follow that until it stops being energized. I'm going to follow that until the energy dries up. Okay?
Right.
And I got an email back and said, okay, awesome edit. How long did it take you? And now we're talking about pricing.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't know you got an email back.
Of course. It was an awesome edit. And there's no notes, of course, because I wanted to nail it. And because I wanted to nail it, I took a little extra time. So I'm going to have to figure out how much is that video worth? Right. And I'm going to have to tell him that's how much time it took. But,
This is like a to be continued story. I want to know what the response was to this.
Well, I'll probably have a response in a few days.
To be continued.
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies. Jon and Tracy will meet you for breakfast tomorrow.